What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to talk about Secret Invasion. Now, this has had a lot of controversy around it already. From the very, this is going to be spoilerific. I'm going to spoil the fuck out of this in this one, because, I just can't, you can't really talk about this without spoiling anything. This is gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be very controversial. It's already controversial from the intro to the very end of the episode, to the fact that it's 6 episodes, to a lot of things. There's a lot of controversy on this movie already. First of all, just to start off the bat with one of the things that happens at the beginning of this show, is the intro. There's a lot of controversy around the intro. I debated talking about that on its own, and maybe I will talk about it on its own, but I'll talk about it briefly here. Is that there's a lot of controversy for the intro to Secret Invasion because it was AI generated, or depending on where you look. Some people say it was completely AI generated, and other people say it was multiple, it was put together by an AI. Like the images and pictures and concepts and all that stuff came from an artist, but then they had an AI piece it together to make the trailer. So there's a lot of people upset about that right now. There's a lot of people hot about it. There's a lot of people, obviously you got a writer's strike going on right now, and part of the writers, and one of the bigger things, and hell, they're talking about it. They were talking about it on the news this morning, is AI and how to handle AI, because there are a lot of things AI can do, and it's the same thing with self-checkout and other technological advancements. Is it taking jobs away from people? Well, you know what I mean? And granted, I suppose there would be a fucking, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Star Trek level future where, people just work for the betterment of everyone and there is no real currencies and shit. But, until we get to that point, there is a fear that this is taking away jobs. And right now, this is the first time it's been done, I believe, at least by any major studio, having an AI work directly in the process of creating a trailer like this. But I have no real opinion on it. I thought the intro. I have no real opinion. I thought the intro was decent. I didn't think it was particularly standoutish, but I didn't think it was particularly terrible either. It was something that anyone, I saw what they were going for, but it didn't really bother me. I don't really got a big deal with it. I know some people are losing their minds about it. I'm not overly happy about it. I'm not overly upset about it. I'm just okay, whatever. So to me, it's just whatever, if you just want my opinion on it. But getting into the show itself, it is very like Marvel to take a concept that in its comic book form was massive and over the top. Secret Invasion is one of the biggest comic books Marvel's ever done. It's right up there with Civil War and Infinity War in terms of comic book, or Infinity Gauntlet, in terms of comic book sizes. There are a few big comic book events, especially in the last 10, 15 years, and Secret Invasion is one of the big ones. It's one of the big ones. In fact, it was like the linchpin to the whole Michael Bendis thing he was doing back in the day with his New Avengers and whatnot. But yeah, Secret Invasion was definitely a huge thing. And about the Skrulls taking over the trying to secretly take over the planet. And and that's not a concept that hasn't been done many times before, aka, body snatchers. Everyone's seen that. Everyone's seen it. Body snatchers, faculty. There's a lot of movies about aliens trying to kidnap motherfuckers, replace them, and become them. There's a lot of movies about that, and that inspired the comic. But with the Skrulls being introduced in Captain Marvel as essentially refugees, displaced refugees, and basically good guys, we were all curious of how would they make the whole Secret Invasion thing work? Will they just break bad? And at the time, we all, I said the same, at least I said it. I was it's not that complicated for there to just be bad Skrulls. And that's kind of the premise of this. So Secret Invasion is about Nick Fury having to return to Earth after an unknown amount of time on the space station Saber, which Saber is sword, Saber's sword is a space station that's kind of circling the Earth now, and it's kind of been Nick Fury's project since coming back, since Endgame. Basically, he's been on that space station, working on, figuring out more alien life forms and figuring that all out. That's kind of been what he's been working on. And there's a threat on Earth that involves Skrulls that have forced him to come back. And this isn't the same Nick Fury from, like, let's say Avengers, okay? This Nick Fury he's been through a lot. He's weathered, he's older, he's seen a lot. And not to mention one of the big plots of the show, and it seems like it's going to be a real linchpin for him, you know, character-wise and, you know, motivation-wise, is that when he got snapped away and came back, it shook him. Because no matter what happened on Earth, Nick Fury always had a plan, a contingency, an idea what to do. He always had something, an idea. And he always had plans. He was always prepared for everyone. I mean, hell, in the first Avengers movie, he was preparing just in case Thor became a threat by making, like, you know, Tesseract bombs and shit. So Nick Fury's the type of dude who's always planning. And then this event happened that he couldn't have prepared for, that he couldn't have been ready for. And he died, technically, and he failed miserably. He wasn't prepared for this. He couldn't have been prepared for this. And granted, it's one of those things, it's one of those classic situations of it's not his fault. It's not actually his fault. No one was prepared for that. He's not the only one who failed, but he took it hard. And it's shaken him. It's made him second guess himself. It's made him essentially hide on that space station. Now, while he is probably doing great work on that space station, the reason he's stayed on that space station and hasn't come back to Earth in years is because he feels it. He was shook. He was shook. And it really screwed with him. And it's really like, so, and even the director kind of pretty much said that the show is about him finding that part of him again, finding his inner Nick Fury again. Which, to be fair, the Marvels takes place directly after this, and he's got the eye patch and everything. So I'm well, I guess he found it again. But anyway, you know, so spoiler alert: Nick Fury finds his inner Nick Fury again in the end. But I do dig that aspect. This is like, in the approach to the show. I remember I posted on Superwise on his, because he was talking about that this show had no hype and whatnot, and like I started saying that I think this show can be the MCU's Andor in terms of it being such a different approach than you usually would get from the. Now, granted, the MCU has already kind of done this. I mean, Moon Knight was really weird. WandaVision was out there for any show. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was very serious as well. So it's not like the first time Marvel's ever had a serious, grounded show, or an out or a wacky out there show, but this is seeming and feeling like it's going to be the most grounded, and it has fucking shape-shifting aliens in it. But they're definitely going for that Cold War geopolitical thriller type vibe, and I'm digging the hell out of it. I'm digging the hell out of it already. So, and playing with the whole Skrulls being able to shape-shift thing, it's very interesting. The main villain toying with Nick Fury, and then Talos and his daughter and that relationship, and it seems like his daughter went off, and like I said it before, dude, go back and watch my Captain Marvel 2 video. I made it a while ago. Now, granted, I was wrong about this. Seems like they're going a different direction with Captain Marvel 2, but a long time ago, I remember I said, if they made a Captain Marvel 2, or when they made a Captain Marvel 2, but I thought the villain was going to be Talos' daughter, because there was a very important scene that happened at the end of Captain Marvel that, alas, like I say, a lot of people didn't see it, a lot of people didn't notice it, but when Talos shot these guys, his daughter was watching him shoot these guys in cold blood. And granted, he was doing it to protect his family and his people, but he did. He shot these guys in cold blood, and his daughter watched it. And I remember at the time being like, that camera did a close-up on her, watching her father kill this person for a reason. Like, it didn't just do it for nothing. Like, there's a reason behind that. And they're following it up here with her joining this, what's tantamount to a terrorist organization, a shape-shifting terrorist organization, because the feeling you get is that this guy Gravik is leading this sect of Skrulls who are basically pissed, and that Nick Fury and Carol Danvers haven't lived up to their promise. They haven't lived up to the promise of finding them a new home planet. Now, granted, I don't know. There's been a lot going on in the MCU, in the backgrounds that we don't know about, that we'll have to wait and see. But they've decided, fuck it, we're going to take this planet. And the plan, at least, it seems like, we don't really know the main plan, at least the plan that they say in the beginning, which, like I said, we don't know if that's actually the plan is. The simple fact is, the Skrulls are pretty much immune to radiation. They're immune to radiation, and the food and plants they make are immune to radiation. So they want to just nuke the world. Because, which made sense, which was funny, which usually in superhero stuff and supervillain shit, we're gonna nuke this. It's like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. But if your entire race is immune to nuclear fallout, to that shit, radiation at all, well, fuck then, yeah. Nuke the world, and all the humans die, then we just take over this planet, and then we just, build our planet on top of it. That's the plan anyways that they present up top. Now, like I said, that's the up top plan. Who knows what the actual plan is? I'm sure the actual plan is something else, and that's just the one that we think it is. But either way, the show is slick, the show is fun. I could not believe that ending Maria Hill dying. Now, I will say this, and then I'll end the video. I know some people are calling it a fridge, and I don't know if it's a fridging. I mean, I guess on its surface it is sort of a fridging, right? Because the term fridging means, killing a female character, particularly a female character. Even though fridging happens to male characters too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But killing a female character to motivate a male character. That's the term fridging. But I really didn't feel because it's like someone had to die, right? To really make it no, shit is serious. People are dying. Even characters could die. And to really get over how dangerous this main villain is, and have him kill off a character who's been in the MCU since the Phase 1, since the Avengers movie, a character who's shown up in multiple movies, to have him, a character who's kind of been like a rock to the MCU, like a Coulson, is a big message right up top. Also, the conversation her and Nick had, it's just making Nick question himself even more. He was already questioning himself a bit, but now he's questioning himself even more. So it really does add on to, it's not like his sole motivation. That's why I said it over there feel like a fridging, because a fridging is, this is his only motivation, is to revenge this woman's death. But Nick was already motivated by the fact that everyone around him is doubting his mindset. I mean, Talos is doubting his mindset. Maria was doubting his mindset. I mean, this other rival spy, who is lovely, by the way, she's awesome, was doubting his mindset. Everyone is doubting his mindset, and he's doubting his own mindset. So this just adds more fuel to that doubt fire. It just makes it even harder for him to get over his own fears and doubts after his fears and doubts led to the death of a friend. So I don't really see her death as a fridging, more like it just felt right. I hate to say it like that. The story they were telling and the way they set that up, someone had to die. And it wasn't going to be Talos, because they need Talos, and him and his daughter and whatnot. Talos is a newer character. He's only been in 2 movies. So, Maria Hill. And I should have knew she was dead, because I didn't see her at all in the Marvels trailer. But anyways, I loved it. I had a blast with it. It's a different vibe. It's a serious vibe. It's a slick spy thriller-esque vibe. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Love Secret Invasions. Can't wait for next week's. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.